Fellow Sierra Leoneans, our country is in the midst of a big trial. By the grace of God, we shall overcome this Ebola outbreak. But to overcome it, all of us must play our part. This is because if just one person does not play his or her part to contain this disease, this trial will not end.
Yeah, once again, people, this is your boy DJ Kemz of Magic Touch Entertainment, and behind the camera is the man himself, Mr. Richie. So today we are in Croydon. We're not going to be talking about any form of entertainment. We're not going to be talking about music. We're not going to be talking about any movies. We're going to be talking about Ebola. As you can see, I'm putting on my Ebola t-shirt saying "Kick Ebola out of Sierra Leone." The reason is because there's a lot of people dying in Sierra Leone, not only in Sierra Leone, Guinea and Liberia, with this strange virus. It's something that we never experienced before in the country, but for some reason it's there. Whether it's a man-made virus or it's a natural virus, the truth of the matter is it's still killing people in Sierra Leone. So that's why I came to Croydon today to talk to Dr. Francis Dove-Edwin, Ebola Response Unit in the Diaspora, Ministry of Health and Sanitation. So basically for him to enlighten us a little bit more about the Ebola crisis in Sierra Leone. So because as we're here, the information we're having and information the people are getting over there is completely two different information, you understand? When it comes to the Ebola situation, some people said it's a man-made virus, some people said it's a natural virus, but the truth of the matter is it's still killing people in Sierra Leone. A lot of people are dying. The Ebola has no cure, so I'm in Croydon today. I came to talk to Dr. Francis Dove-Edwin to see if I can now free word with him, probably be able to enlighten us a bit about the whole Ebola crisis in Sierra Leone. So keep it locked, keep it tight. It's your boy DJ Kemz. So I'm going to go now to see Mr. Dove-Edwin. Dr. Francis Dove-Edwin, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Fine, thank you. How are you, sir?
Wonderful, wonderful.
First of all, I'm going to say a very big thanks to you, obviously, for taking your time out to see me and talk to me today. You understand about this Ebola crisis in Sierra Leone, well, the whole of Africa, West Africa. So, people, this is Dr. Francis Dove-Edwin. Doctor, before I go further, I would like you to introduce yourself to people so they will know. I've said a few things about you already, but it's better they get it from your mouth so they will know who you are.
Okay, my name is Dr. Francis Dove-Edwin.
Okay.
I'm actually, the first title will be the president for the Sierra Leone Olympians organization. I wear quite a few hats, and I'm also coordinating with the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, bringing together diaspora's response to the Ebola crisis.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dove-Edwin. So, yeah, people, you've heard it from the man himself. So, Mr. Dove-Edwin, you know the situation back home in Sierra Leone is really terrible, isn't it? Lots of people are dying. There's no cure for the virus at the moment, isn't it? So what actually is going on at the moment in Sierra Leone in terms of this Ebola situation?
Well, first of all, I just left what I call the trenches.
Okay.
Because this is a fight. You got to be field tested and battle ready. And it's a new fight. As you're aware, yes. Ebola was not in West Africa, okay, and it's the first time we are experiencing it in Sierra Leone. So it really cuts across the cultural behavior. That's why the infection rate is going up. Okay. Because it cuts across, infection rate goes from birth, in between, and then death. Even the way we greet each other. We touch, we're people that hug, we're happy, we want to be with each other. You know, we have ceremonies, there's ceremonies around when a child is born, there's ceremonies you do with people when they're sick. You don't just leave them alone or just avoid them. And also when people die, you perform ceremony. And this Ebola virus is more active actually when the person is dead. So what government is doing and what we are all doing in Sierra Leone and working in line with the government is the first thing we had to do was to educate the people, because it's new, as I said earlier. So we have to educate them. We have to tell them what this virus is and how it's affecting. Once we've gone through that education, we start breaking down the barriers of denial. Then if you, for some reason, get that infection, then you move into what is called isolation. From isolation, you get to be observed, and then you go through a blood test. Once that happens, then we move you to the next phase, which is obviously you get quarantine.
Okay, yeah, I'm talking about sensitization because I was in Sierra Leone like a few months back. The Ebola was in Sierra Leone, you understand, but for some reason, people, they don't believe that Ebola was actually existing. What was the government doing during that time? Did they try to sensitize people about Ebola situation back then when it was not as bad as it is now, or?
Well, they did. The government has jumped into sensitization very early, because I'm sure if you would see that even the radio station we were on, me and most of my colleagues and other various guys from the diaspora, even Ajibu, the Minister of Information, you know, all the total ministry, when the president called together the task force, was pushed towards sensitization. Even the Deputy Minister, Medina Rahman, currently now, at that time she was not. We carried out messages to the market women, because they're the ones that goes up and down the province. So we addressed them first. We addressed also the youth as well. We talked to them and we told them what was happening. But as I said, denial was always the first phase. It's not like I'm telling you this is malaria, this is cholera that you've studied as a student.
So basically it's something that we never experienced before. Basically, it was a new virus. So people like tend not to believe that it was actually there.
So the Minister of Information, you know, along with Medina Rahman and all of us, had implemented this sensitization. So that's why you hear it on the radio. But the denial is understandable because it's new. You know, it's cutting across our culture. A lot of things that we're used to doing have to stop. Shaking hands, greeting, you know, attending funerals situation when the older people are sick, you're not supposed to touch them, hold them. So that separation is there.
And of course, I think one of the reasons why I think there's so much denial when it comes to the Ebola virus, because I think some people are saying whether it's a truth or it's a myth. There's so many conspiracy theories concerning the Ebola, whether it's a man-made virus or it's a natural virus that is actually affecting people in Sierra Leone. So because you've been in the field working with the response unit, so what's your take on that?
Well, right now I think it's a virus that is going from human to human contact. So that's basically what is happening now. So people have understood that and they realize that. We will find out whether it's man-made or artificial later on. Okay. But right now, people are dying. We have to address the main issue, which is you can only go from your immunity system to develop for you to build in cure. So that's the risk part of it. I mean, right now there's no vaccine, there's nothing on the ground. So until that happens, then we have that change. So we have to make sure we make the environment effective, help the people by boosting their immunity system so they can overcome.
And of course, at the moment, people are really dying. Over 100 people is dying per day, on a day, just because of this Ebola virus at the moment in Sierra Leone. And basically, people are still complaining that there is no help. People get sick with the Ebola virus, they'll go to any of these health centers, they'll turn them down. You understand? What is it the government slowing to respond, or the international committees actually not responding to our needs?
Well, everybody has some problems with see, the virus is moving faster than anyone is reacting.
Okay.
Even the international community is behind the virus. The virus is ahead. What we're fighting to do right now is for us to get ahead of the virus. So that's why you see there's lockdown, there's continued sensitization. So with the lockdown, we're trying to slow down.
Yeah, talking about the lockdown.
Slowing down people.
Yeah, okay.
So we can get ahead.
Stop you there. Talking about the lockdown, it was a 3 days lockdown in Sierra Leone, you understand? What difference does that make?
It made a huge difference because one, we were able to count and know the actual affected people. Secondly, we slowed down the movement of the population
for 3 days.
For 3 days, so that way we can catch up with the virus, catch up with those who are hiding sick people, those who are hiding dead people, those who are avoiding. So these are all the things, communicating face to face. And you know that in Africa, the better communication is when you sit down face to face, host to host talk, and explain. Then we got more believers. Then we were able to flush out a lot more new cases.
Okay, but when the virus, you know the virus started in Guinea, right? And when it started in Guinea, everyone was saying that we have to close the border, we have to close the border. Was that the right decision that the government made not to close the the border by then?
You see, if you close the border, a lot of people think if you close the border, you close the virus, or you isolate. You should isolate the virus.
Yeah, but Gambia stopped flights from Sierra Leone up to now they haven't got.
Of course, Gambia is 1 hour away.
Okay.
They're 1 hour by flight. It's not Gambia is not next door. There's a lot of porous border. In Sierra Leone to Guinea, we have a lot of porous border. People walk across. Family live close to each other just by walking distance. It's not like we're coming from Cali and then I have to catch the train to get into Sierra Leone. There are a lot of areas where you can walk. So it's like telling families, you know, it's too difficult for you to implement that type of total border control, but putting checks at the border is important, and that's what we did. And if you see now what UK and America is doing, it's putting checks in their border. That's the appropriate response.
Okay. Well, in terms of sensitizing people, because there is so many information coming out, you understand, when it comes to sensitizing the people, don't do this, don't touch someone. Some saying unless you start feeling sick before you infect someone, yeah. You understand? So what if you're carrying the virus? Let's say you catch a virus from someone, but you're not sick or anything yet. Is it possible for you to transfer it to someone else?
No, you're not going to be sick.
Is there any proof in that is not?
Yes, scientifically it's proven. I mean, the virus is smart. It's not ready to leave you yet. You're a fresh host. So he has to stay there first. He has to manifest himself to take over that particular host.
So is there any test they can do before you start feeling sick?
No, I don't think they will.
Because all they do is the temperature they take from people.
No, that's the only thing that you can do now. I mean, unless you start requesting from everyone to donate their blood. Because it's a blood test that will verify that you have the virus from within your system. So you're not going to ask travelers to give blood, you know. So symptomatically, when you are at an infectious stage and the follow-up questions will tell you that this individual is of a high risk.
Okay, so I'm saying a lot of people are donating different things, you understand? As we say, we don't want, because Magic Touch Entertainment, we're trying to donate things as well to people back home, but at the moment, all we do is getting the temperature, the soap. We don't actually know what exactly the people need down there. And there's a lot of people who want to donate as well, that they don't want to send money, because if you send money there, it doesn't go in there. You go to the wrong hand, you understand? What are the things that we actually need here at the moment that people will need, you understand? To try to fight this Ebola virus.
The immediate needs right now, which is some of we're addressing it on Wednesday, the Sierra Leone Olympians, along with a couple of other people from the UK, we're going to put together a container that is leaving on Wednesday and it's heading to Freetown. As I told you, the virus is moving fast. So the faster you have more infection rates, the more you will need beds. That's for sure. You need beds, you need chlorine, you need cleaning detergents. Those are consistent because when you have Ebola, you're constantly throwing up and you're also using the bathroom a lot. So you need bean, dust, cleaning agents are consistently needed. Disinfectants that kills bacterial viruses, you know, all of these type of things. You need those and need to get those done.
Okay. And Lambda, you guys are going to be sending some stuff back home in Sierra Leone, you understand? When is that going to be? How soon is it?
It's leaving on Wednesday, this Wednesday, which is next Wednesday.
Okay.
It's leaving to Freetown and we're going to be packing those things out of Edmonton. Sierra Leone Olympians and then a couple of other athletes will be there. We're teaming up with Sierra Hearts and we're coming together to make sure that we
and of course, basically
beds, mattresses, gloves, protective gears, this type of thing.
Basically, because the fight against Ebola is everyone's fight, right? It's not one-man business anymore. It's not the government. No one has to blame the government. So it has come to a point where everyone has to come together to fight against this Ebola. Ebola is a deadly virus, you understand? If you're lucky, you survive it. Otherwise, you die. There's no cure for it. That's why Dr. Dove-Edwin is here trying to send things back home, you know, in collaboration with the Olympian Association and Magic Touch as well. We're doing the same thing as well. So we need a lot of Sierra Leoneans out there, or friends of Sierra Leoneans. The people back home, they're really suffering. They are dying. If you call someone, anything they talk about is the Ebola situation, is putting the country on hold. And basically, people are talking about in the long run, not in the long run, Sierra Leone will go into collapse, isn't it? Because Ebola is not just affecting the health system, but it's affecting the whole of Sierra Leone at the moment, isn't the economy and stuff?
Yes, you're absolutely right. The economy slows down. Nothing is happening. Nobody's playing sports. There's no football, there's no gathering, there's no matches, nothing. So sports is not being played. Nobody's going to the bars. You cannot congregate together. There's no crowd. So nobody's doing any business. Transportation closes very early. So there's no economic vibrant activity taking place. But eventually those things will recover. First, let's get cured. Let's be safe. Let's know what we have to do about Ebola. Let's all come on board and let's support this fight. Once it's over, then we will all get back to the Sierra Leone that we were building again.
Yeah, that's the main thing we're talking about. Let's come together. The fight is for everyone. Let's come together. Let's fight this Ebola, because it's a deadly virus, as it's already been put to you guys, that it's things that kill people every day. So Dr. Dove-Edwin, before we go, I'm going to ask you to give one last advice, sensitize people a bit more about this, because maybe they'll listen to it from the radio but they don't believe it. I just want you to assure them that the doctors here, they are not there to kill people, because one thing, when people get sick, they don't go to the hospital, isn't it? Yeah. Thinking that when they go to the hospital, they get infected. So I want you to reassure them, tell them that this is not the case in Sierra Leone.
Well, the first thing I want to do is to tell members of the diaspora to call their family and tell them that the Ebola is real and it does exist, and they must emphasize that. Don't get caught up in this little political ming-maro with the virus, because at the end of the day, your relatives back home won't take it serious and they'll catch the virus, and there's no known cure except they go through the early detection stage, and then we boost their immunity system. For those of you back home, follow the rules and regulation. It's better for you to isolate yourself, isolate the virus, than put yourself at risk in catching the virus, and then you have to risk the whole entire process of trying to come up with a cure. So that's where the deadly part is. So that's my advice to you. Follow the rules and regulation. Avoid contacts. ABC. Avoid body contact. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dove-Edwin. Now I'm going to ask you a quick question. How soon do you think we'll be able to contain this virus?
I think by December, the virus will be under control.
Okay. Well, did you hear that? By December, the virus will be under control. For those of you that don't know who Mr. Dove-Edwin is actually is, he's one of Sierra Leone's fastest ever athletes, you understand? This is the man, Mr. Francis Dove-Edwin, representing Sierra Leone, winning medal in Peps. You understand? It's about time we clash. So thank you so much, Mr. Dove-Edwin. I'll see you again some other time. We'll talk more.